Welcome to the Piano Marvel Method 1D training video. In this section, we are going to cover new notes F and G in middle C position, introducing tempo markings, introducing dynamic markings, ties across measures, and dotted half notes and quarter notes. So far in Piano Marvel, we have played songs on C, D, and E in the right hand. We are now going to also be using F, which is right here next to the E. We have been playing C with our first finger, D with number 2, E with number 3, and now we will play F with finger number 4. Likewise on the left hand, we have played on C, B, and A with fingers 1, 2, and 3. We will now add G in the left hand, played with the fourth finger. Let's look at a quick example of F being played in the right hand.
1, 2, set, go.
Now let's look at an example playing G in the left hand.
Set, go.
In musical notation, it's very common to see a tempo marking on the top left of the music sheet like this. This marking, adagio, tells us to play slowly. This other tempo marking, allegro, indicates to play quickly. Here's an example at 70 beats per minute, which is in the adagio range.
1, 2, set, go.
Here are the same measures at 130 beats per minute, which is in the allegro tempo range.
1, 2, set, go.
There are many other tempo markings, some slower and some faster, but we will only deal with these for now. You can adjust the tempo in Piano Marvel using the tempo slider at the bottom of the screen if you want to slow down a song or speed it up for practice. On some of the exercises in this section, you will see this musical marking, represented by the letter F. This marking is called Forte, and it tells us to play this section more loudly. Forte is an Italian word for forcefully. In contrast, some songs you will come across will show this marking represented by the letter P. This marking stands for piano. In musical terms, piano means to play softly. It's always good to look for these markings in a song before playing so you know that they are coming up. Sometimes it is necessary to connect notes together to get a longer sounded note. We can do this using ties. Here is an example. Here I have a whole note which should be played for 4 beats, and another whole note which should be held for 4 beats as well. But what if the composer really wanted a single note held for 8 beats? We can only fit 4 beats into one measure, so even though we have 2 whole notes that are worth 4 beats each, they are still 2 separate notes. If we add a tie between these 2 notes, we can connect them to make them sound like one extra long note. This gives us 8 total beats of length that the note will be held, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. By now you are familiar with the half note and the quarter note, and you know that in common time, a half note will be held for 2 beats and a quarter note will be held for 1 beat. If we add a dot behind each of these notes, however, we are going to change the length that these notes should be held. The rule is that when you add a dot behind a note, you will add half of the note's value to the length. This may sound a little confusing, but it's really very simple. Let's look at the half note first as an example. A half note is held for 2 beats. If I add a dot, I add half of the note's value. In this case, I add 1 beat. because half of 2 beats is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So our dotted half note should be held for 3 beats. This is the same as tying a half note and quarter note together. Now let's go to the dotted quarter note. A quarter note is held for 1 beat. If we add a dot, we will add half of a beat. This makes the dotted quarter note worth a beat and a half, or the same as tying a quarter note and eighth note together. Let's look at a couple of examples. First, the dotted half note.
1, 2, set, go.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's look at the dotted quarter note.
1, 2, set, go.
1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This concludes the lesson for Method Level 1D. Have fun.